Hi, I'm Ali Patterson. On this episode of Fintech Finance, we look at the branch transformation. For this, we speak with Glory Global Solutions and look at the work that they're doing in this space when I speak with Paul Race and Javid Angel. We speak with Craig Donaldson from MetroBank about the branch of the future. We also speak with Simon Taylor from Barclays and Barnaby Davis from Nationwide. So I've come to speak to Glory Global Solutions about branch transformation.
One of the biggest challenge is how do we improve the consumer experience within the branch while not impacting the cost or actually reducing the cost as well. And I think digital channels have a big role to play here. We certainly at Glory, with our assisted service technology, are helping banks to reduce the cost of serving customers, but at the same time delight them. The key thing here is that our research suggests that a third of all customers still need help even during transactions. So while a lot of these digital channels are available and they're helping customers with routine transactions, some of the customer needs are not being met by them, and sometimes when things go wrong, they need help. And the interesting part is that a quarter of millennials say the same as well. So while performing transactions, if anything goes wrong, they need staff at hand who can help them complete that transaction. I think this is where technologies like assisted service technologies can help by bringing that help proactively and helping the customers within the branch complete their whatever they came here to do.
With goals to reach over 200 branches by 2020, MetroBank is really leading the charge in using the branch as a channel for customer service. I spoke with Craig Donaldson from MetroBank to find out more.
So first of all, I'd say store, of course, just to be painful. But to me, what people want in store is tangible delivery. So to me, if you're really looking to what you want to fulfill in a store in the future, it's got to be how can I tangibly deliver at point of sale? Whether that's getting my card, a checkbook, paying coins in, taking money out, whether that's getting a statement or not, whatever it is. So point of sale, you know, the merchant acquiring for businesses, how can we fulfill that at point of sale? That's the type of thing. So to me, where we need to take banking of the future is to make sure you can fulfill every service through every channel. And the store is an absolutely core part of that. Actually, so it's how can we use frictionless security to remove, say, a lot of the identification of customers you've got to do. You can use technology to remove redundant time, to speed up how you interact with customers so you can engage them more. So we've been looking at things like iBeacons, where you could use pulling through from the card to identify the customers as they walk into a store. So therefore you know who's there and you'll be able to service them because CRM should pull straight through to the Surface device. And because we take photos of our customers, I can see whether it's you or not. So there's things you can look at like that to drive faster service, but to me it's about choice.
We hear a lot about the branch of the future. What does that mean to you guys at Glory?
So let me first start with what branch of the future is. It really depends. If you go back 10 years and you look at today's branches, we already have the branch of the future. We've got all the technology that is out there, which is helping the staff as well as consumers. We talked about it. But if you look at technology and the pace of change, that dictates what comes in the future and helps the consumers in their daily needs within a branch as well. There are different areas to look at it as well. But if there's one area that I pick, which is identification of the customer. As the number of channels have grown, so has grown the number of different ways in which you can authenticate yourself. And often you can't use one form of authentication from one channel in another channel. For example, there aren't many banks in the world today where you can use your internet banking username and password at the branch teller. So there is an opportunity there to simplify that identification process of your customers. We at Glory are testing and piloting a number of technologies in this area. One of them is facial recognition. It can really revolutionize the way you identify the customer, make it much more natural the way it used to be within the branch. We're in early stages still, so it's not en masse out there, but it's a technology that, for the technology to work well, it has to be hardware agnostic as much as possible. This technology would enable consumers or people to walk through the door and then they are identified immediately. They could be in front of an assisted service device and they are identified, they choose to identify themselves just by looking at the camera.
While at Cybos in Singapore, I spoke with Simon Taylor from Barclays about many aspects of fintech, including what role the branch is going to have moving forward.
I think the branch becomes that key moment in your life story. So for those key moments around, you're going to college for the first time, you're getting married, you want to make those financial decisions, or you want to do the planning. You want to spend 2 hours with somebody who can really get something across to you. If you're looking for that sort of personal touch, then I think that's where our colleagues can make such a huge difference to you. They can really kind of surround you with a set of ideas, tools and knowledge to allow you to achieve your ambitions, and to achieve your ambitions in the right way. And I think that's kind of becoming something that people go to, the likes of Apple and others have a branch presence, in effect, a retail presence where you go to the Genius Bar.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting metaphor to think about for what might branches of the future look like. Would I go there for help with when something goes wrong? Would I go for, when I just can't serve it myself? But you think about your experience with your Android phone or your Apple phone, 99.9% of the time it's intuitive, you can use it yourself. But when something just doesn't quite work or you just can't quite get it right, the branch is there, they're always there to help you, and you can have that human personal touch. And keep in mind, there's a large segment of our customer base that likes that human touch. And I think we should be very thankful that we're able to give that human touch and make such a difference to customers' lives, because frankly, sitting across from another person, there's still nothing quite like it. But I don't think it's just an age thing. My younger brother, who's still in his mid-20s, doesn't like dealing with machines. He doesn't trust them. And so for him, going through a branch gives him a great deal of comfort and security. I think for that reason, it's important that there is something local that he can trust and deal with something with a human face, definitely.
Steve Hemsley went to speak with Nationwide about taking customers on a journey.
I'm Steve Hemsley and I'm in Swindon at Nationwide's headquarters talking to Barnaby Davis about the biggest changes to their branch network for many years. The industry can talk a lot about the branch of the future, and it can sound a bit like a soundbite and people not quite understand what it means. For you, what does the branch of the future look like?
Well, we deliberately don't use that expression anymore. I think we might have for the first branch that we did here. What I now refer to as branch design transition, because we're clearly going from something that was established to be a safe place to deposit money and withdraw money or apply for a loan or a mortgage, into something which is much more about the customer's needs. And so the need isn't for extremely strong counters and glass and security. The need is for comfortable places to have informal and formal discussions with a level of privacy that the customer might want. We find the semi-open spaces are actually the customer's preferred places. We love Wi-Fi and tablets being able to make some discussions now not have to happen in an office. They can happen in a much more comfortable seating situation like this. I think in terms of where I see branches going, in the week where Microsoft have opened a store in Fifth Avenue and Amazon have opened a bookshop, that tells us that there's a real need for physical locations, and those physical locations need to be comfortable places for customers to go and feel like they can have the right level of knowledgeable discussion with somebody in a banking context.
Branch of the future is a very interesting term, and around the world we've seen different banks approach this with kind of high-tech flagship branches. Technologies come and technology goes, and there are lots of examples in banking where one particular technology solution or another has been promised as the next big thing and then singularly failed to deliver. I might cite banking kiosks as an example. Banking kiosks have been around for many years and largely still feel like they're a solution looking for a problem. So taking that on board, one of the things about predicting the future is typically you will be wrong. But in terms of a philosophy, my only prediction about the successful branches of the future is they take the customer-centric view. So rather than thinking about technologies, they think about what customers actually want to do when they visit the branch and how technologies can enable that to be simpler and more seamless.
So it's really interesting because we're on a journey on this at the moment. We are not truly omnichannel, but we have a technology stack that's going to allow us to become truly omnichannel. And so we're making those logical steps as we go now. It's all about how you move data across channel so the customer can be recognised using that information wherever they are. And they can move in and out of channels at their will, so the colleagues know them. So we've fundamentally invested in our infrastructure that allows us to do that. And now we're building it out into all the channels, and we're probably about 24 months away from being truly omni-channel, and we'll be taking steps over the next 24 months to implement it fully. For me, it's something as simple as, say, you tweet that you've lost your card, and then you walk into a store. I should be able to see that you've put through social media you've lost your card. I should be able to identify you because I can pull the data to the screen, and the person should be able to say, can I help you? Do you want me to get you? So it's joining up all the different interaction points so that the person who's dealing with you can have a proper conversation from an informed position. That's the key. It's how you pass data and then use data to deliver better experience to the customer. Say you lost your card, what I want to be able to do in the future is for you to be able to say, I just want to freeze it or unfreeze it, or I want to order a new one, I want you to deliver it to my house, I want to be able to pick it up, or I want you just to email me a new card that I can start using straight away. That's omni-channel approach. So it's all linked up so tangible delivery can be done from any point and through any point. I don't think there's many there. Probably Argos are the furthest on I've seen with their hub and spoke model, but we've got the infrastructure now that will allow us to do that over the next coming months and years.
MetroBank is certainly offering a great consumer experience in their branches. They're offering a very personalized service to their customers, and it adds to what everybody else is doing. So certainly it's giving them a differentiation, which is good in this market. As consumers visit branches today, in the presence of all the digital channels which are at their disposal, it's a choice that they make. It's a choice to go and visit your branch. When they make that choice, it's then up to the bank to make that visit useful and convenient for the customers. There's a role to be played by digital channels in this visit as well. Digital channels are offering a lot of new opportunities for consumers to do things differently. These channels can be part of the branch experience as well. And the emerging challenge, far from the cost and so on, is to create a new consumer experience within the branch, which is using the digital channels as well as the human touch within the branch to create a wow factor.
So we had a goal to be the world's most automated bank, but that doesn't mean you take away the personal touch. It means that all the friction goes away, right? So it's about kind of allowing you to self-serve as much as you would like to. And if you want a human face, it's there and it's an option. So it's really about striking that balance. And so there are these points of friction at the moment. If you've ever had to open an account, for example, all of the pieces of paper you have to deal with to open an account are tremendously frustrating. And there are good reasons for why all of those are baked in the way they are. But if we could start to think differently about how that account opening process will be and create that to be a more automated process, then actually you may still be dealing with a human who's explaining everything to you, but actually what you've got is something that's a lot slicker and feels nicer and isn't quite as scary in turning pages and pages of paper. And that, to me, is how it would feel to you as a customer. It would feel more automated in that sense. And then there's a lot of stuff that's hidden beneath in the background that the bank is doing around, once it's got that piece of paper, what does it do with it? Who does it pass it to? How does it move it on? And if that can flow faster, and you're not waiting 7 days for something to come through the post, but you can walk out of the branch with that bank account and you can spend money immediately. So we have a service where you can walk out of a branch with a debit card there and then. Those sorts of things, I think, make a real difference. That instant feedback is what consumers expect these days. So moving more and more to that is, I think, really crucial.
Let's look specifically at the teller activities. Many banks have adopted teller cash recyclers or TCRs because it's proven it reduces the transaction time, it provides more capacity at the teller to reduce queues. One thing that often gets forgotten is coin. Coin is a challenge and remains a challenge for banks. Many of the cash-based transactions at the teller involve not just notes but coins as well. So if you only automate the note part of that transaction, you still have tellers having to manually count coin. You don't get the productivity gains you're looking for. So to my point about understanding the different ways and the different types of interaction around cash across the whole branch, unless you do that in a holistic way, sometimes the benefits that are promised are not realized. And coin, of course, you could make self-service, put it in the front office, because we know that consumers actually enjoy the experience of hearing those coins go into that machine, hearing them being counted. And largely, the total that comes out at the end is actually more than they thought it was going to be, so they feel like they've won. It's cheaper, it's automated, it gets coin transactions away from the teller counter, and it improves the customer experience. It actually attracts more people into your branch. We have a customer in the US who did exactly this with self-service coin machines, and they saw branch visits grow by 156% over the course of 5 years. More and more people were hearing that they could go in and convert their coins that they have in jars or bottles or piggy banks for their kids, so they were coming to the branch. Why wouldn't you want more people coming to your branch so they can see the merchandising and the products you really want them to be aware of and to buy? And bringing children in is a great way to do that.
Automation in a branch or in any industry, there can be suspicion from customers and from colleagues, staff. Can you talk about how that has improved the customer experience and obviously your colleagues and the employees' experience?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, if it wasn't for automation, then banking wouldn't be like it is today. You couldn't have mass market banking without the accounting systems that were introduced in the late 1960s and through the 1970s. They essentially opened up banking to everybody. I think, and the way I describe it is, machines are really good at doing repetitive tasks that need absolute accuracy. I think people are really good at serving people, creating rapport, finding things out and making sure something really is sorted out. And I think if you can find the sweet spot between getting the machines to do what they're good at and getting the people to do what they're good at, then that's the winning experience. And it's not just digital and it's not just people, it's a bit of both. I mean, I've really enjoyed the 14 months so far at Nationwide. I would probably point to three things. A really useful branch design that both customers and colleagues find helps what they're trying to do on a daily basis. A set of digital assets which is fundamentally supportive of what colleagues and customers are trying to do, whether they're on their own or whether they're in a branch. And thirdly, the real harnessing and usage of customer data and customer insight to create a proper relationship with a customer where we can help them so much more, because we can now talk to them on their smartphone, which is a sort of a remote control both for life and for their banking relationship, and sort of be an organisation that the customer wouldn't want to be without.
Automation is very visible in branches. It's the first thing you see when you walk into a branch today. And it has really changed the consumer experience. Now a lot of the services are available 24/7 and at locations more convenient to customers. And at the same time, there is technologies like TCRs have helped staff save time as well. So more of it can be used to serve the customers better, to provide a better consumer experience. But there is room for improvement at the same time. A lot of the work, back office work that is still done by branch staff, if you look at the digital channels, a lot of that work doesn't exist and it's all automated. So there is an opportunity there to improve and save more staff time. So it could be spent more in the front office rather than the back office. Assisted service technologies are really key to this as well. They can help automate much more of the transaction work that a staff member today does, and then enable but still keep that human touch. And that human touch is more personalized and it's more timely, and it's exactly when the customer needs it as well. So it's based on preferences too. So I think automation is helping both the staff as well as the consumer, and it's creating new possibilities.
On the next episode of Fintech Finance, we head to Malaysia to look at the world of data centers.